You are listening to the So Now What podcast with Lana Manikowski, episode number 206. So now what? These three words raced through my mind time and time again during my journey through fertility treatments. I tried desperately to have a child, but never was able. I yearned for a community to join that could understand my struggles. I couldn't find one, so I created one with the So Now What podcast. I love that you found us. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. If you see me on YouTube and you're like, damn, this girl's makeup looks good, she's got her lipstick on, it's because I am back from my 5th or maybe 6th birthday celebration. We're going to talk about birthdays in today's episode. So if you have ever struggled with your birthday, this is an episode you're going to want to listen to. Real quick, before we dive into the episode, I mentioned this on last week's podcast episode, but there is a research study going on through Northwestern University that is confidential. It's all about gathering a needs assessment of women who remain childless following infertility treatment. And it's being done through Northwestern's Division of Reproductive Endocrinology and Infertility. They're doing the study to better understand what the experiences and what support needs women are looking for when their fertility treatment ends without a live birth. So, very important topic. I really hope you take time to go into the show notes, or if you follow me on social media, you can find a link to the study in my bio. This is a beautiful opportunity for you to voice your experience if you left fertility treatments without a baby, of what you received as far as support went. There are some eligibility requirements, 18 years or older, that you went through fertility treatments, you were born biologically female at birth, and that you did not have a live birth as a result of fertility treatments. So take a look. Please fill it out. It's open to anyone in the world. So if you're listening in Australia, Africa, India, UK, US, wherever it is, you are eligible. If you meet the eligibility requirements, please take time to do that. And let's get into this week's episode. So if you follow me on social media, you could not miss that I had a birthday. It was on May 14th. I turned 52. I know, 52. I feel like I should feel older than I do, but I had such a beautiful celebration, multiple celebrations with so many people I love: my husband, my sister, brother-in-law, my niece, nephew, my besties, my cousins, my parents, my in-laws, my Aussie Doodle Coco. And it really was a beautiful opportunity for me to realize how differently birthdays feel for me now than they used to. Like when I got my fertility diagnosis and when I left fertility treatments without a baby. Because birthdays when you're childless after infertility are not always happy. And honestly, people don't say that out loud. People don't talk about that out loud. Society just expects you to celebrate. But when you're trying to figure out what your life even means without being a mom or without the children you dreamed of, all the cake and candles and, for me, my favorite Rice Krispie treats can feel like the last thing that you want. At least I know they did for me. For years, birthdays felt really heavy. Not because I was afraid of getting older. I guess I kind of was afraid of getting older. I was afraid of getting older without motherhood, without having kids, without this role that I thought my life was going to take on. And there's a difference, because every birthday felt like another reminder that my life did not look the way that I thought it would by then. Another year older, another year without kids, another year further away from fertility treatments, another year closer to menopause, another year of being disappointed that I didn't somehow become pregnant on my own, and maybe another year wondering if somehow I'd still be one of those miracle stories where you hear about the people that leave fertility treatments and then tend to get pregnant on their own. And underneath all of that was this question that was so loud in my brain and I could not shake. What is my life supposed to be now? Because I really believed that by my 40s, I would have had this life that made sense already. I thought I would know who I was. I thought I would feel established. I thought I would feel settled into my future and bundled up, ready to go. Instead, I felt more lost than ever. And I think one of the hardest things about infertility and about childlessness is that you can look completely fine on the outside, but on the inside feel so alone and feel so disconnected to yourself. You function through life. You go to work, you get your job done, you show up to things, you go to your dinner with your friends, you smile in pictures, you go to birthdays and holidays and your best friend's kid's first birthday party and baby showers. But inside, it feels sometimes like your real life never started. Like you haven't grown up yet. Like you're still waiting to become an adult. I know that feeling because I lived it. You all know I went through 7 years of fertility treatments. Everything from IUIs, IVFs, Reiki, acupuncture, massage, like meditation, the whole 9 yards. And then in 2018, at the end of my final cycle of my 7 years, I had one frozen embryo that had something called trisomy 16. So it had 3 of the 16th chromosome. And I was told by my reproductive endocrinologist that it would never result in a viable pregnancy. And so just like that, my biological path to motherhood was over. I was given options of adoption. I was given options of a donor egg. And as much as I wanted those to feel like okay options, they weren't the right options for us. And I never had anyone to talk to about it. And I did not bounce back. I sat in that unknowing for years because nobody was talking about what comes next when the journey ends and your dream of motherhood does not come true. There was no roadmap, there was no guide, there was no conversation that reflected what I was experiencing. And the silence was deafening. So if you're sitting there in silence, I want you to know I see you. You aren't doing it wrong. I was you. I know what it feels like to wonder who you even are without that dream of becoming a mom and this fear of getting older. And I know what it feels like to sit at a birthday dinner for you while everyone around you is celebrating and internally feeling completely disconnected from yourself. I totally understand what it feels like when you wonder how everyone else seems so anchored in their life and in this role in life while you're still trying to figure out what is mine. And I also know the fear that comes with aging when motherhood didn't happen. Those questions that linger in our brain of who will take care of me when I'm older? What will my legacy be? Who will remember me when I'm gone? Will my life matter? What does my family look like now? What am I supposed to fill my next 30 or 40 years of life with that feels worth celebrating? And those are real questions. I think many women feel ashamed for still struggling with those questions year after year and years later from fertility treatments. But I don't think something is wrong with you, gorgeous. I think you are trying your best to build a meaningful life after the future that you planned for disappeared. And that is such an important distinction. What changed for me was not some magical moment where it was like, okay, I finally decided to love my birthday again and became okay with not having children. It was not this toxic positivity that a lot of people say, oh, read this daily affirmation and fall in love with your life. If you know me and if you know my coaching and you've worked with me as one of my clients in Thrive After Infertility, you know that is not the way that I help women continue to move forward and find a life that they feel connected to after infertility. For me, it was the moment that I got tired of waiting for someone else to start the conversation and decided to start myself, to start realizing that I don't have to keep wanting and comparing the life that I'm living against a life that I don't have. It was the moment I stopped bracing for a future I was so afraid of and started to figure out how to build one that I was excited about. And no, it didn't happen overnight and it was not perfect, but I just realized that I did not want to be living year after year feeling disappointed in what the card that was dealt was given to me. And just slowly, I just started doing it. I started out working with a coach for myself. Then I decided to become a coach for women who are childless after infertility. Then I went on to go get my advanced certification in grief and post-traumatic growth. And through all of that, I've learned not only to reconnect with myself, but I've also allowed myself to imagine that maybe my life has meaning and possibility, even though motherhood didn't happen. And I want to be so clear with you about this. Moving forward does not erase your grief. It did not erase my grief. It did not suddenly make me happy that I don't have children. It just means I stopped measuring my worth and the value of my life against milestones that weren't going to happen for me. And that is where the change happens. Because now at 52, I wake up most days very excited about my life. I choose to celebrate my birthday. I choose to be with people that I genuinely love. I walk into places like news stations and speak on national stages about the conversation around being childless after infertility that nobody for a long time wanted to hear or no one came forth and talked about. I created the Others Day in 2022 because I wanted women to experience what it feels like to walk into a room and no longer feel like an outsider. And none of that happened because I'm lucky. None of it happened because I am more brilliant than one or a million people around me. It happened because I just decided to stop waiting for the life that I had once planned for and start showing up for the life that I'm living. And maybe that is where you're at right now, right this very moment. Maybe you have a birthday around the corner, or maybe you just got done celebrating a birthday and you're just like, holy hell, please let next year be better. Because I know that you want more for yourself. I know that you don't want to spend the next 30 years feeling disconnected from your own life. And the problem is nobody has helped you figure out how to get there. And I understand that. It makes my blood boil, but I want you to know that you are not too far gone. You are not too old. You are not too behind. You're just not there yet. And if this episode connected with you, I would love for you to share it with another woman who may need it. Maybe and follow this podcast, maybe even give me a review on this podcast, because I think it is so important for women who are out there searching to easily find something that they need. The things that you and I wish somebody had offered us. The more people that engage on this podcast and follow and rate and review helps the stupid algorithm that I have a love-hate relationship rank this podcast. So when someone is searching for life after infertility, hopefully this will show up for them. So I love you so much. Thank you for all your million birthday wishes and all the love and the flowers and the good vibes and the good juju. I hope you have a beautiful week. I love you. And remember that it's never too late to discover your meaning. I'll talk to you next week. Hey, real quick, I just want to tell you about an awesome resource I created. If you have ever found yourself in conversations with people, or maybe people offering you suggestions about what you should do to become a mom, it's called The Top 27 Things People Say When You're Childless and How to Respond. You can get your copy free at lanamanikowski.com/thingspeoplesay.